Hey.
Hello.
Hello.
Is this? Okay.
Wait.
Well, that's gonna be loud and peak, but
Yeah.
I just had to make sure it was the right mic.
All right.
You know how it do. Hello, everybody.
Welcome to GamePunx. We're back.
Again.
We're back again.
Like Marvel 2.
Like Marvel 2,
After
like
20 years.
fucking Donkey Kong. We're back.
We're back. Like Ninja Warriors.
Shit, that's true.
Ninja Warriors again.
Again.
They changed. I can't believe they changed it for here though. They should have fucking. It was cowards.
Well, sometimes you just gotta do the shitty marketing thing.
Sometimes you do.
Oh well. We can't all get what we want. We got Marvel, so now we're not allowed to have anything else.
It's true. It's true.
We're never allowed to have anything. It's kind of like how we got fucking we got Banjo and Kazooie, so we're never allowed to ask Sakurai for anything ever again. He's not gonna give us anything else.
I don't know how I feel about that.
We could talk about that because I did play with all the new characters.
Oh yeah,
I have
Yeah, we got stuff to talk about.
I have thoughts and feelings.
Like, the normal structure will continue on the next podcast, but this is one of those weird catch up.
This is just
remember shit and then be like, oh yeah.
Yeah, that was good in that year because it is now the year 2020, aka the future.
The future.
It's the future. It's the year that I was told by all the things in the 80s that I would have a fucking flying car, but I don't, and I'm kind of mad.
Yeah, all we got was Cybertruck.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much. That's
I was promised flying cars, and all I got was this shitty Cybertruck. Thanks, Elon Musk.
Hey, that motherfucker. Hey, is that vaguely game related? Because that shit is just a rip off of the Warthog.
I don't know. Is it Bungie?
Yeah.
It's Bungie. Does Bungie have a fucking lawsuit on that?
They kind of should. Yeah, they could probably, like, I don't know,
I don't know.
suck up all the cash from Musk. I feel like that fucking thing is very easily a ripoff of the fucking Warthog. It's like almost too obvious. But oh well. Oh boy, no, it's been quite the fucking last couple months. Everybody's been busy, everybody's been dealing with bullshit, but right now it's fucking GamePunx time, and we're gonna punk some games.
Yeah, we're gonna, I've narrowed mine down to like a top 5 list, because I can't think of 10 games that came out this year.
I honestly can't think of more than 3 that
10.
I played and really loved.
Yeah, that's it, like...
Oh, not 4. I could talk about 4. It's a game that I'm not sure if I like yet, though.
No, fair enough. I have, about 5, I guess. 5 is just easier, because, like, 5 off the top of my head I can do, but 10 starts getting into that, like, convoluted, like, oh, I forgot I played this game.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like...
Yeah, I got
the top 5 right off the top of my head. It was very easy.
Okay, so let's do it then. Why don't you start us off?
I gotta actually check to see... I mean, you know what? It maybe didn't come out this year, but... Oh, no, it did come out this year. Fine. Cool. Perfect. Alright. So, my top 5, without too much extenuating detail, Resident Evil 2 Remake.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons.
Because
this is in
fucking
no
awesome.
Order. Devil May Cry 5, for also obvious reasons. Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah.
Which I forgot came out in 2019. It's weird. Time is weird.
Time is warped and space is bendable.
So those 3 are in the top, like, AAA games, for sure, for me. And it's kind of funny because it's all franchises that are going back to the thing I liked when I was younger.
Yeah, pretty much.
And the other 2... definitely would have to be The Outer Wilds, not The Outer Worlds.
The Outer Wilds.
The Outer Wilds, the space exploration game.
Yeah.
But not the one not the one about capitalism, the one that's just straight up existential.
Yeah.
That game's fucking amazing. I wish I could play it for the first time again, because goddamn, I cannot recommend that game enough to people.
It looks fucking incredible. Every time I've ever looked at anything of it, I'm just floored.
You gotta be careful, because you can, like, spoil yourself pretty hard.
Oh, it looks so good.
but it's it makes you feel so good, like just gathering information and putting it into practice and
Ooh.
learning about space. So yeah, The Outer Wilds, and the last one, out of left field, end of 2019, Disco Elysium.
Yeah,
Came out like late October and fucking
it
swept
swept the Game Awards. Like got
They won
so
five things,
so many fucking
like
accolades
at the Game Awards alone, I think.
Yeah,
Or
alone.
some shit like that. And like it is well merited. That game is the best book I have ever played.
That is pretty much what it is, isn't it? It's like a really great.
Yeah,
it's a really great cyberpunk novel.
It's 100% a book. It's not cyberpunk. It's more just weird dystopian.
Oh, dystopian fiction.
Like
Junk punk.
the world is fucked. Yeah, junk punk.
The world is fucked.
It's Montreal in 5 years after the housing markets crash.
Ah, huh. Great. Good to know that I have that to look forward to.
The premise essentially is you're just a washed up ass cop and you're a piece of shit and you wake up from being blackout drunk with no memory of anything at all, which is a really good premise because you wake up in this hotel room and you're like, I don't know anything about this world, and your character is also like, I have no idea what the fuck is going on.
That's a really great like diegetic reason for the player character to have amnesia.
Yeah, and it's great too because like there's dialogue options that are like, please just tell me what the fuck is I don't know. What is money? What is a real? How much is money? Like, what the fuck is happening? I have no idea how the world works. And the other characters are like, are you okay? And you're like, no, I'm not.
That's really funny.
Every time you get because you can have, there's specific scenarios where you like someone will hand you a gun, or you have a gun, and you always have the option to put the gun in your mouth and just fucking pull the trigger.
Ooh.
Just always, it's constantly there.
That's extremely tempting.
Yeah, and it's fucking hilarious too because it kind of builds up where like, well, one of the ones that I did was like he put the gun in his mouth and everyone was like, what the fuck are you doing? And like there's the option to like start sobbing and being like, I can't fucking do that. Like it's just the choices and like variety is hilarious. So I've been playing a super drugged out piece of shit, like wacky guy.
Oh, perfect.
So yeah, it's been an experience, and I think Disco Elysium probably takes my game of the year. Swept the rug right out from under Outer Wilds in the last stretch, but
damn,
fuck, man.
I was I kind of had a similar thing where I thought my game of the year was locked down. And I felt kind of bad that it was. I guess I'll get into it when I get into it. But my top 5 for the year was starting off pretty lightly. This would be my number 5, and only because I enjoyed my time with it as much as I did, expecting maybe not to. And that's Pokemon Sword and Shield, because I think it's a really really fun game that's been marred by just some kind of unfortunate business practices on the part of Game Freak. But I do really enjoy the game. I enjoy the player customization. I think the Galar region is genuinely one of the most well-designed like Pokemon regions in terms of story, narrative, like development of it as a living, breathing fucking place that feels real. Like, they did a really good job. It's up there, in my opinion, with Alola, which I also think is a very real-feeling region that has, like, a living, breathing, tangible culture and sense of life to it. Yeah, I've
actually been, like, playing through Moon recently, and, like, I don't know why I bounced off the first time, but, like, that game's fucking good.
It's really
good on Moon.
Sun and Moon are brilliant games. Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon less so, but Sun and Moon specifically are great. And I can't wait to play the DLC for Sword and Shield because it looks really good. It is genuinely what I wanted out of Pokemon DLC, like more exploration and more places to go and train. And they're both 2 new wild area style regions. Also, I like the wild area. I think it's really fun. Even though there's a bit of a lag when I'm there, I could spend hours there.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just because of the
frame rate chug.
Yeah.
But I think they need to maybe switch to another engine. or something.
I think
isn't cutting it anymore.
I think that's what they need to do as well. The current engine they're using is not cutting it.
Yeah, but again, we have no idea what the fuck's going on internally. So.
Exactly, Game Freak are highly,
it's not
highly
to shit on Game Freak.
They're highly secretive about their development process.
Yeah,
and
to the point where they lied about more Pokemon coming to Sun and Moon because the non-disclosure agreement probably said not to.
Yeah, exactly.
It's DLC, like.
So you don't know what's up with them, and I don't think it does us any good, and doesn't do them any good for anybody to be speculating. So, or like at least speculating aimlessly. So I think I'll just leave it at that. I enjoyed my time with Sword and Shield. I'm going to enjoy it more when I get the DLC. In the meantime, I've put it off because I've been playing other games. My number 4 game of the year is Gato Roboto. This is a game from Devolver Digital.
Oh, yes. I've seen a bit of it, but I haven't seen any gameplay. Like, I think I just saw...
So it's a light Metroidvania. You could beat it in about 6 hours if you really went into it, but and if you're super good at Metroidvanias, but it's a really interesting little Metroidvania in that I feel like it takes I said the bad word Metroidvania, but in the sense that it kind of takes out all the really, really annoying shit that you don't like from games like that and just puts the focus squarely on the gameplay and the navigating. Like, the map is really not terribly complicated, but it's fun enough to explore and you feel satisfied enough because it's
not
just
like Hollow Knight.
Exactly. It's just big enough. It is almost like I want to say the polar opposite of Hollow Knight in terms of its ethos, because Hollow Knight is a game.
Short.
Hollow Knight is a game that is purely about developing yourself to a level of skill near unprecedented in order to kind of navigate your way through a really complex and difficult series of challenges, mazes, and exploration puzzles. Whereas I feel like Gato Roboto is the most casual form a Metroidvania can take while still feeling like a Metroidvania. But it's really fun. The premise is super simple. You play as a cat named Kiki who jumps into a mech suit to save their owner whose spaceship has crashed on a little planet. It plays, I want to say gameplay-wise, very much like, Super Metroid. Like, it's got that kind of fully realized, very tight control scheme.
The jump's kind of floaty, but
the jump is extremely floaty, but not bad. The bosses are very similar to Metroid bosses or Mega Man bosses. There's a little bit of Mega Man in there too. But it's a super fun little game. It's inexpensive as fuck. I picked it up only with my Switch points that I had, like my Nintendo points. So it was like it was on sale, like super massive sale. I got it for like the equivalent of $5 in points. Great game. Like I love every second I've spent with it so far. I hope to beat it soon. I like to play it incrementally because it's very easy to do that. There's like a lot of save points. It's super easy to just pick it up, navigate your way through the map a bit more. Beat a boss and then keep playing. Put it down or keep playing. It's a great little pick up and play Metroidvania, and I did not expect to enjoy it as much as I did. I bought it during the Christmas sale, so it's a really late entry to my Game of the Year list. But I really enjoyed it. The next game, so that's my number 4. My number 3 is... I'm kind of conflicted as to what to say about this game, because I think it's really brilliant and clever and interesting, but I also don't find the major thing about the gameplay fun. But I respect this game so much on a purely aesthetic level. It's called The Friends of Ringo Ishikawa. This is a open world brawler / life simulator game set in 90s Japan, where you play as a Japanese school delinquent named Ringo Ishikawa, who is poor. And it's this beautiful pixel art style game.
Yeah, it looks really nice.
It plays a little bit like River City Ransom.
Yeah, I was gonna say this has big River City Ransom energy.
But it's not as tight or as complex a game as like something like River City Girls. Nor is it really trying to do the same thing, because it's like an existentialist life sim beat 'em up mashup game. And the way that it communicates the narrative, the way that it communicates story, the way that it gets across the sense of ennui about this world is brilliant. I think the problem with it is that it does all that other stuff so well that the gameplay, being as kind of monotonous and atonal as it is, just kind of makes it less fun to play.
Okay, yeah.
But
the story is
the story is gripping. There's a lot of tiny details in it that I admire. One example is like Ringo can't afford a game console because he lives on his own and he's like a high school student and he doesn't have a job. So like in order to hear about video games, he talks to his friends. They tell him about games that they play, and I'm like, that's a very, when you're growing up and you don't have a game console or you're poor, that's a thing you do with your buddies to kind of feel like you're in on shit. You ask them to talk about the video games they play and stuff like that. So it's, I don't know, it feels like, I don't know, I feel like I really am inhabiting the life of a 90s Japanese school delinquent. Like, I don't know, this is like Kazuma Kuwabara Simulator. But, but yeah, the gameplay, the beat 'em up part of the gameplay is just kind of monotonous, and it's fun when you start getting into the fights because it's like, ooh, this is like a big school brawl between two rival gangs from different schools. But
like, I've been mashing A.
Yeah, I have literally been touching this button for fucking hours. Could I please not? Please, no more. I'm done. So I want to say I've only played about 4 or 5 hours of the game. It's not a terribly, not a
combos and shit.
Not really. Like it's when I say it's atonal, it's like it's a very flat fucking gameplay. But everything else about it is so interesting. The open world feels really big. It has like a day pass by kind of system where each day you go back home, you wake up in your bed and you get it kind of like Night in the Woods. Like it's got that kind of progression to it, which is, I mean, that is one of my favorite fucking games ever. So like the Night in the Woods vibe I appreciate. But I don't know, and it actually, if there's any game it reminds me of in terms of the style of gameplay, for the most part, it's Night in the Woods, except Night in the Woods doesn't have beat-em-up shit. It has, like, fun little mini-games and you crying about characters that you really like. Whereas this is...
I still need to fucking play Night in the Woods. I think I'm going to stream that one, actually, because that
seems
like it would be a good one.
You should. That game is I mean, one of my favorite games of all time. It's like my top 5 of all time. But, but yeah, Ringo Ishikawa, it's my number 3. I put it above Gato Roboto because I see it as a more ambitious and creative game. But in its ambition, it lost sight of some major shit that I think could have really improved the game, which is just giving it a deeper, more involved combat system. And I think tying the combat system in more with the game's narrative so that everything kind of feels justified. But there's a lot of shit in the game that's to like. I mean, you have a button that's just to put your hands in your pockets and walk quickly by something so that you don't instigate a fight between you and some other fucking Yankee guys. So it's like there's shit like that that's really cool and interesting. It's got like a lot of clever like one button commands and stuff like that I think make the game feel a lot more flavorful and real, and it's just kind of bleh. I wish I didn't have to do all the beat 'em up parts.
That's fair.
Now this game, this number 2 game, was going to be my game of the year because every moment I spent with it, I can't say anything but good things. It's just...
I already know which one it is.
It's a brilliant fucking game. I love it. It's my favorite fucking thing I think I've like ever waited to play, because I waited for it. Because this is a game that came out in 2018 on other consoles that we got on Switch, and it is... The Switch version is undoubtedly the better version of the game. That is Dragon Quest XI, Echoes of an Elusive Age. Now...
How's all that extra content, TM?
Yeah, I mean, so much. Dragon Quest XI originally came out on, like, you know, Xbox and PS4, I want to say, about sometime in 2018, and it was a good game. It was a great game, and a lot of people had a lot of good things to say about it. The problem with it, I think, was that there were aspects of the game that were not kind of polished. For instance, the soundtrack being entirely in MIDI synths, which is really
flack.
kills the tension. but also just like, you know, a lack of post-game content for it was something that a lot of people complained about as well.
What the hell?
Now, the lovely Switch port is something else entirely. Firstly, completely reorchestrated score. Say what you want about fucking fascist composer son, because he's a piece of shit. And I don't mean that as say what you want, but I mean say what you want. He's a piece of shit. And I actually kind of think the score to this game is not that good anyway. It's like, in terms of Dragon Quest scores, it's one of the most mediocre. But, and it repeats itself a lot too. But everything else about this game is brilliant. It has one of the most likable and fleshed out casts of any Dragon Quest game so far. A particular favorite of mine being Sylvando, the gay acrobat circus clown whip man who I love, and he's Spanish and I love him. He's my husband. We're married now. He's a brilliant boy and I love him very much. And his entire story basically being a really, 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 really fucking good coming out narrative without it explicitly being about him coming out as gay. Like, it's just the most deeply, deeply gay-coded thing I think I've ever seen in a Dragon Quest game that wasn't offensive. So I'm very much enjoying that aspect of the game, and I love
this one good, Japan.
Yeah, I love Sylvando, and I think he's a genuinely great queer character. But other characters in the game are brilliant too. I love the whole fucking cast. I love Rab, R-A-B, Rab, because his name is Robert, but he's got a Scottish accent, so they call him Rab. Rab. But Rab is a really, really, really great character. He is the main character of the game's grandfather, and that's like a mild spoiler. But he is the grandfather of the main character of the game, and I have to talk about that in order to be able to talk about.
I lost you.
Oh,
is that my internet dropping or yours?
It might be mine.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's GamePunx, baby.
Ooh, I'm back.
Woohoo!
Sorry about that. My internet
okay.
crashed so fucking hard. Holy shit!
I figured.
Sorry about that.
Oh, good.
But I kept
GamePunx, baby.
I kept the recording going, and
I did too.
I will just cut out all that shit in the post. But so Rab is a very good character, and it is a mild spoiler to say that he is the main character's grandfather. But in order to discuss something about the game that I loved very, very much, specifically about Rab's narrative, I'm gonna have to spoil that. But a lot of the story centers around the destruction of the kingdom that you are the prince of, Dundrasil. Dundrasil is like destroyed in a monster attack that's like instigated by a conspiracy that's being led by this demon lord named Mordegon. And a lot of the characters, specifically like 4 or 5 of them, have like pretty deep links to Dundrasil. And Rab was the former king who gave up his position to like anoint your father as the king. Your father was like a knight who fell in love with the princess, and he became the king of Dundrasil after Rab. But you play like this entire mini episode midway through the game during the time skip, where Rab is kind of having to relive the destruction of Dundrasil. And it's really brutal and rough, and the storytelling and voice acting and writing is so tight. I was bawling having to play it. It was so emotionally really hard. But great. Just like brilliant, brilliant gameplay. And a good way of kind of communicating that character's importance to the narrative.
Yeah.
It was just so fucking good.
I still have to fucking play that one, man.
Dragon Quest XI is an incredible game. I think
Square
put so much of their best effort into that game's world and story.
Yeah. Is it great. A good starting point for the series?
Yeah,
also, right?
For sure.
Like separated.
For sure. They're like Final Fantasy. You can play them in any order.
Yeah.
You just pick the one that its flavor suits you best.
Because whatever.
Because it's the 11th entry in the series. It doesn't mean it's the 11th entry in a grander story. Yes, Dragon Quest XI is a brilliant starting point. I would specifically recommend the Switch port. It's
perfect.
And playing that portably is a treat. It looks great, and there's no slowdown. Nor is there much loss in graphics fidelity. It's a very, very good game. So Dragon Quest XI was going to be my game of the year, because I waited a long time to play that one, and I was like, oh, I don't care what else comes out this year. This game has like touched me emotionally, and I love it. And then Fire Emblem Three Houses came out.
Yeah, there it is.
This is a game that I have poured
my wife
so many fucking hours into. I am not ashamed to say that I love basically every single character in this game, even the ones that are like borderline sex pests. Like fucking Sylvain and Lawrence. Yeah. But I like them all. I've played through 2 of the 4 story routes in the game so far. I've beaten the Golden Deer House story route, which I thought was really good. And I've beaten the Blue Lions, which was interesting, not as good as Golden Deer, but had some really cool character shit for the character Dimitri, who I actually really liked out in the... I thought he was going to be the most boring of the 3 main house leaders, but he was far from it. They were all actually really good characters. Now I'm playing the Black Eagles route, which means my wife. I love her. I love Edelgard so much. She is a brilliantly written character, and a testament to that is how much you despise her in other routes for like the sheer selfish blindness of her ambition, versus how much you come to admire her playing the Black Eagles route when you get to know her and recognize just how much traumatic shit she's had to go through in order to be able to get to the point where she's at now, where she believes that, like, you know, so strongly and firmly in her ideals that she's willing to do anything to ensure that the shit that happened to her never happens to anyone else again, and that includes like violently killing and dominating people who she would have considered allies, because they just do not comprehend the scope to which the world is fucked. And and these are other characters who have gone through significant shit too, but I kind of, an inevitability of the 3 routes is that usually in one of them you end up having to kill the characters from the other routes, and I said I simply cannot abide by this. So I cannot stand for this. So playing the Black Eagles route, which is the route that differs the most from the other 3, and it's the one that kind of puts you squarely in the shoes of the antagonist of the previous other routes. I decided I don't want to have to kill my children. I love them all. These are my students. I care very much for them. So I did this thing that you can do where you can like use these points that you acquire through playing through other routes to like basically bring your ranking up, like your relationship supports up with all the other characters, so that I could recruit literally every other character from every other route that is recruitable to my side for the Black Eagles, so that I didn't have to kill a single one of my lovely, lovely children. So now I'm playing the Black Eagles route with like a party that's like 27 characters strong.
Jesus Christ.
I haven't even been able to use most of them, but I just could not abide by... Yeah, literally a small army. I simply could not abide by killing these children. I know. I felt super bad when I was playing the Blue Lions route, when I had to kill the characters from Golden Deer that I really loved. Like, it made me actually kind of inconsolably upset when I had to kill Raphael and Ignatz, and also I had to fucking kill like Leonie, and I had to kill Hilda, and I was like, no, and Marianne, I don't want to kill Hilda and Marianne, I love them. So I felt super bad that I had to do that, and there are like ways that you can save them and spare them, but I felt really bad, so I decided not to do that, and instead chose to just recruit all of them. So now they're all on my side, and we are powerful together, and it's great. But holy shit, what a game. This game has so much that you could talk about that I feel like I'd be here for 5 hours if I wanted to get everything I had to feel out of
sure.
out of my head.
There's so much shit in that game. Like, I haven't played that game, but I feel like I've played at least 12 hours of it.
No, exactly. Like, there's so many wonderful characters. Almost every character has support conversations with every other character. Even if they don't go terribly far, they at least get as far as establishing what those characters' relationships are.
Yeah.
Like, whether or not they're antagonistic towards each other, whether or not they're begrudging allies, whether or not they're close friends, whether or not they are pretty much in a relationship with one another, regardless of whether or not the game's canon makes it ambiguous on the ends of all the other characters. Like, I don't know how the fuck anybody could ever think that they should support with Hilda and Marianne when those characters are clearly, like, right about to bone one another. Like, same thing with, I'd say the same thing with fucking, what's her name, and, blah, 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 blah. Trying to remember the name of the character, which is bad because I love these games, and I've been playing it obsessively for months. But, I'm trying to remember the name of those two characters, so I'm like, how could you pair them up with anybody else? Oh, yeah.
This is clearly the canon.
Mercedes and, Annette, who are clearly so head over heels in love for each other. And Mercedes is one of the female S supports that you can get for the female Byleth. So she is one of the characters that's, like, canonically bi, at least in my opinion. So I'm like, yeah, her and Annette would, like, canonically get together. I don't care if Annette is straight. Fuck all y'all. Annette is a little lesbian. But, like, I don't know why you would pair Mercedes with anybody else but Annette. Like, their relationship is very close, and they have a good friends to lovers thing going on. But, yeah, just, like, what a brilliant game on all fronts. Extremely well written. The best character writing of any Fire Emblem game, by far. I don't even think it's up for question.
Yeah, I feel that's pretty unanimous.
Like, I like Fire Emblem Awakening a lot. I think it's a really well written game, as is Fire Emblem Shadows of Valentia, which is a really, really underrated and underappreciated Fire Emblem game that has excellent character writing. But I feel like Shadows of Valentia was like the taster for this game. Because a lot of the shit in Shadows of Valentia that isn't directly adapted from Fire Emblem Gaiden is, like, very much just prototypical elements of this game. Down to, like, the 3D navigable environments and shit like that. And, like, the really, really, really immersive and fluid battles. But, yeah, Fire Emblem Three Houses is a great game. It has four great stories to enjoy. Ridiculous amount of excellent characters and character writing.
That's the thing, too. Replay value seems pretty up
the
there.
replay value is insane. It's insane. And there's great DLC coming for it soon, which I cannot wait to sink my teeth into.
That got announced,
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, I cannot wait to sink my teeth into that DLC. It looks fucking great. There's 4 new characters. Like,
oh god.
Holy
4 new waifus.
Yeah, really. 2 new waifus and 2 new husbandos. Like, perfect. It's really, really fucking good. And just the gameplay is the tightest it's ever been in any of the Fire Emblems. Now, if I had a minor complaint, I think the easy mode of the game is a little too easy. And
the story mode?
No, like the easy, because the game has level difficulty.
No, yeah, but easy would be like, because there's a new thing in JRPGs I'm noticing where it's like story mode, where you just play it and it's hyper easy and it's basically just for the people who want to experience the story.
I don't know about that. It's not really like that. It's not like the new Final Fantasy remakes that they've done, where you could literally just, like, bypass the gameplay entirely and enjoy the narrative.
Essentially, just fucking...
It's not like that. It's more like you play the game and there's challenging bits to it, but if you play it on the easy mode, it is shit easy.
Yeah.
Versus playing it on the hard mode is...
You did not learn. You did not improve.
Is, yeah, there's kind of, like... There's not really a really, like, good balance between those 2 levels of difficulty. And then the really hard mode, I'm like, I'm not even touching that. Because it's punishing. But what I do like is that you can always play Phoenix with Phoenix mode on, which is no permadeath, which is how I play, because something about the older Fire Emblems that I was always upset about was because they were difficult games. and
Permadeath
permadeath
sucks.
was not an option to turn off. I was very sad and upset, and I couldn't get through the games because they made me sad. So
Yeah, lost a lot of good men.
exactly. Now I can just enjoy the games and think they're brilliant, which they are. But yeah, I really, really fucking dig Fire Emblem Three Houses. It's my game of the year, hands down. You know what? And at the rate I'm going at, it'll probably just be my game of the year next year too, or this year.
The DLC will
because the DLC is going to be good, and there's more DLC coming, from what I understand.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a brilliant fucking game. So that's like my top 5, but Fire Emblem is definitely my game of the year. Love that fucking game.
Goddamn.
Yeah. And
Take it away, Fire Emblem.
take it away, Johnny. And speaking of taking it away, Johnny.
Sylvain's just dancing in a corner.
Oh, fucking Sylvain. That man. I hate him, but I love him.
Hey, yo, come get your mans.
Every time, like, every interaction somebody has with him is either somebody scolding him for his flirting or him flirting with them.
Yeah.
He's that big of a man slut. And there's like a bunch
It's true,
there's a bunch of fucking like conversations with him where a character is straight up like, dude, like, I'm pretty sure you're just a misogynist and it's pretty obvious that you hate women. And he's like, what? No! And then like a couple more support levels deep, and he's like, yeah, actually, straight up, I'm just kind of a misogynist. I know it, and I feel like a piece of shit. But also, like, it's the only thing I know how to do good. Please,
it's the only thing I do good.
Basically,
misogynistic.
Exactly. I'm only good at being a misogynist fucking pickup artist, please. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, I love you, but I hate you so much. He's such a piece of shit.
He's the man we love to hate.
He's such a piece of shit, but I do like Sylvain.
Zeus.
Zeus.
Zeus, don't fuck it too late.
You turned into a swan and you fuck. Damn. But yeah, so those are all the games that I played this year that I really liked. But there's a bunch of other good shit this year that I liked too.
Yeah, like 2019 was one of the best years, I think, in recent memory for video games, and 2020 is lining up to be better.
Oh yeah,
which is nuts.
It is pretty nuts.
Concerning,
isn't it?
Also, just my wallet is like, oh no.
My wallet is very upset with me. Every time it sees a new sale game, it's like, you want that? Oh, Mega Man Zero ZX collection? You're gonna buy that day one, right? I'm like, yeah, I know, but shut up.
I made a damn it, what was it? I made a pact with myself to try and clear as many games off of my Steam library as possible before I start buying new shit again, because like,
yeah, I'm doing the same.
The backlog is too fucking. It's too.
Same thing with my wish list on the Nintendo Store. It's just like, although I do get emails whenever something on my wish list goes on sale, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, me too for Steam, which is fucking often. And sometimes you're like, how am I not supposed to spend $5 on this?
I know.
And you're like, God, come on.
And then it's like, that's just one more game to play.
Yeah, and then it's like, well, I just got it. I might as well play it for a bit and see how it goes. And then the other games stay in the backlog, and you're like, damn it.
God. Did you listen to any music this year that you really liked?
No, I hate music. Yeah, I listened to a bunch of shit, actually. Denzel Curry's Zoo.
Yeah, Zoo is fucking great.
Probably in my top 5.
Zoo is a brilliant fucking album.
Oh. Okay, we're gonna do a real quick music top 5 each.
Yeah, sure.
And then I think I might have to skedaddle.
That's all good. Don't worry about it. Let me go grab my music list.
Yeah, do it. I will talk.
All right.
So yeah, Zoo by Denzel Curry, 100% is up there. Again, this is in no specific order.
Yeah.
Because I don't like doing that to myself. It's too hard.
Oh yeah.
It hurts me. Show Me the Body. I'm not sure if the album released this year. I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure that came out in 2018.
Yeah, me too, but I'm still putting it on.
It's a great fucking record.
One. But yeah,
seeing them fucking live.
Oh no, it's 2019.
It was 2019? I saw them open for King Cruel. Holy fuck.
Yeah, I saw them I don't remember. I like at Sala Rosa a few months back when I got my back patch. It's the best show I've ever seen.
They're
my
fucking
favorite
good.
band.
They're so.
If I have to pick an order, this album is definitely number one.
Oh,
yeah, that's easy. It's just the rest I don't want to like fuck around with too much. Dog Whistle, 100% is up there.
Dog Whistle,
and also Horror. These fucking crazy ass motherfuckers released they released a LP.
Yeah, and an EP too.
The LP actually was still in 2018 though.
Oh, okay.
But the album that I'm referring to, Cyber Warfare, 2019,
it's so fucking good.
Definitely top. I love the fucking like feral cyberpunk vibe. Just it's so good. It's
a brilliant fucking
like,
album.
Cyberpunk music is always seen as like synthwavey and kind of like
or like
shit.
Yeah.
But like this is cyberpunk.
It's like it's almost like synthwave. It's like synthwave hardstyle, is what I describe it. It's so fucking good.
It's its own thing. It's so good. I think I did the Spotify year in review, and like I had like 200 something hours of just horror streamed.
Oh boy,
like, they were my most streamed artists for the year. I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
Shit.
Okay, so that's 3, right?
Yeah, that was trois.
Trois. What else? I mean, I just kind of rotate those 3 bands. I guess if I had to pick another, Megan McDuffie's shit on River City Girls soundtrack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That OST is fucking amazing.
It's fire. It sounds so fucking good.
Vocal tracks, like, nuts.
Yeah.
And last but not least, Deviancy by Backwash.
Backwash are fucking good, and that was a great record.
Backwash, she kill it.
I've got, I guess, my top 5 in no particular order. I did like a grader, like top, I think it was like a top 70 or something, but my 5 that I really, really loved were, I guess this would be my album of the year, Return to Center by Kieran J. Callanan. It is the punkest album you've never heard of. It is basically big, stupid, dumb songs from like the 70s and 80s that are totally like not great or like only mildly good originally, that he has covered and just done these brilliant interpretations of. But the album is also a self-reflexive examination of like his very, very public fall from grace in Australia, where he recorded a really, really big album a couple years ago. He's the guy who did Big Enough, the song with the 2 gay cowboys and the guy screaming in the sky that became a meme. But he made this album a couple years ago that was really, really big, called Bravado. He toured extensively for it, and then when he was at the Australian Music Awards, he flashed his junk at the press and got super, super duper in trouble, and basically had to pay huge fines, and like basically didn't have enough money left over to record a new album. So he pulled the greatest grift of all time, which is go to Guitar Center, I think he said something about approximately $140,000 on equipment, record the album within the 14-day warranty period, and then return all the shit to Guitar Centers to record it. Basically recorded an album for free. So he did.
Holy shit.
And it's brilliant.
That is DIY culture.
Yeah.
That's how it's done.
Yeah,
that's fucking sick. That's a feel-good story if I've ever heard one.
It's fucking incredible. The album is a triumphant fucking album. It is also, like I said, self-reflexive examination of his very public kind of fall from grace and him kind of trying to rehabilitate his image. And it's a very sensitive album, and he's a dude who's always kind of straddled the line between poor taste and like brilliant artistry. So it's perfect with it. Like if you watch anything, watch the video for his cover of the Waterboys' song "The Whole of the Moon." It's a beautiful, gorgeous cover. The video is super fun and funny, and he's great. So Kieran J. Callanan, Return to Center. Another album that I loved, the first Glass Beach record by Glass Beach. which is Glass Beach are just a great band. They call themselves post-emo, and I think that's a very good description of what they are. They blend everything from jazz to emo to electronic music to chiptune music to punk, just in this brilliant mash of fun, bubbly, but also kind of sad music. That it's a great debut album. It's like the best first album by any band I think I've listened to in a long time.
Nice.
It's amazing. It made my albums of the decade. Like it's that good. Another album that I thought was fucking crazy, that I loved so much that after hearing it I immediately bought tickets to see the band because they came like a week after I first heard the album. The band is
that's always nice when that pans out.
Yeah.
It sucks when it pans out in the reverse, where you're like, oh, that band sounds like it's a cool band, and then the show passes and then you hear them and you're like, fuck.
Yeah. This band is
I
called
would have loved to have gone.
This band is called Black Midi. This album is called
yeah.
Schlagenheim, and
Pushing them.
It's noise music. Noise punk even is like too kind, but noise music. Heavy, distorted, vaguely evil, super angry, really raucous and loud, kind of proggy noise music. And it's loud and it fucking slaps. Just listen to Schlagenheim, listen to that fucking album. It's incredible. Another album that I really loved this year, this is my number 4, is Igor by Tyler, the Creator. It's an album I had to spend a lot of time with in order to fully appreciate.
Yeah,
but
after
listening to it over like a dozen times and finally finding the right conditions to listen to it, I think it hit me. It finally hit me how brilliant a record it is. I keep
trying to sit down with it, but I just bounce off every time.
But
like you said, like I just need the fucking conditions.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
it's like you can't listen to it properly without being in like a very specific mind place, and it's an album that hurts as much as it heals. It's like very much about Tyler's most self-reflexive and self-deprecating album since like the OF days. Like it's a really, really harsh kind of personal record, and it's self-reflexive, but in a much more mature way than all of his OF stuff was, obviously. Like songs like "A Boy Is a Gun," just kind of go so deep into his psyche, examining like all of his anxieties related to his sexuality, related to his like him growing up, like a lot of anxieties about being like nearly 30 years old and still feeling like you're a fucking teenager sometimes.
Yeah,
like
gang.
it's like, yeah, I know exactly. I'm like, oof. But
too close.
Yeah, a little too close to home. It's funny how like how much in Arrested Development you feel when you're queer and you're young, huh? Yeah. But it's almost like you have to live a second youth after coming out. It sucks. But Tyler definitely is getting that. I think he's at the peak of his artistry right now, and he's at the peak of his popularity because he won a fucking Grammy for that record. Yeah. So he performed at the fucking Grammys and killed it. He was so good. His performance of New Magic Wand was insane, and that song is really great too. It's like very punky and thrashy. But that fucking album is brilliant, and I'd say the last record I want to talk about, because you already spoke about Zoo, that's the one that I would have put there. So instead I'm going to talk about an album that I think just needs a lot of exposure because it's really, really fucking good. And this is exclusively for people who like jazz. But this record is called Force of Nature. And it is just a brilliant, brilliant jazz record. It's by Ryan Porter, who is, I guess, like a jazz trumpet and trombone player who plays with people like Thundercat and Flying Lotus and Kamasi Washington. Like, he's kind of part of that group, but he released a really great jazz record this year called Force of Nature that totally blew my ass out of the water. It's a brilliant fucking album in all respects, and if you like jazz music, even if you're just a little bit interested in jazz music, I suggest you check it out, because modern jazz is a really cool experimental realm of music, and some of our best and brightest jazz artists are now. Like they're now. Jazz is a constantly shifting and evolving genre that's forever in like a period of like intense experimentation, and I just think Ryan Porter is like a brilliant fucking jazz artist, and Force of Nature is a great album. So definitely
check that one out.
Listen to that.
Enjoy me the jazz.
Listen to that and listen to his other album, The Optimist. They're both wonderful jazz records. And one of the songs on The Optimist is even one of the songs from like a Kamasi Washington album that they did with Kamasi. So like if you like that new jazz, listen to Ryan Porter. He's fucking brilliant. I love him, and jazz music is really interesting. If you're not into jazz, get into jazz. It's good.
Just grow up. Grow the fuck up.
Mature your tastes and listen to some jazz. Yeah. I promise you will not feel like an old person. You'll feel cool.
It helps if you drink coffee and smoke a cigarette.
Yes.
That's how you enjoy jazz.
Exactly. You light up something and fucking have a coffee with you.
Light up a coffee and smoke a cigarette.
Exactly.
I mean,
light up a coffee and drink a cigarette. Drink some cigarette juice.
Oh God.
But yeah, I guess that's the first new GamePunx of 2020. I guess, bro.
Yeah.
Woo.
It's a weird one because we got no news.
Yeah.
And we didn't really delve into what we played. But I mean, kind of. But next week we'll go back to the regular format.
Yeah.
We might even pre-record some bonus rounds or something.
We could do that. I'll be leaving on Wednesday, and I will be gone until next Wednesday. But I have, I'm not gone for very long. I'm only gone for like 7 days, and next week I will be like on like Thursday, Friday, and shit like that. Like in the evenings, I'll be down to do some shit, so we can. Cool. We can work that shit out, but I will be down for the regular format next time because I have more games to play and I have more things to say, and I want to talk about my time with Smash and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've been getting into Dragon Ball FighterZ.
Ooh,
getting back in.
We back.
And yeah, we back. We going back in. And went back to Marvel 3 because obviously I don't own Marvel 2. So I need my Marvel fill where I can get it.
Marvel 3 is an underrated but flawed game.
No, Marvel 3 is good.
I think the visual style of the game is really not great. But it's the one problem I have with it.
It's better than Infinite.
I mean, that's like saying, I don't know, a fart is better than taking a shit in your pants. Like, yeah.
It is. If you got to pick one, which you do.
I mean, I think the choice is easy. I just think the visuals is like contrast. Scale that shit all the way up.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like the sliding scale of contrast.
I don't think it looks too bad.
It's better than fucking. It's better than Infinite. So
I think it looks fine. I think
it's a good sequel to 2. That is what the gameplay is wonderful actually. But the character roster is kind of insane. But I just wish those visuals were.
Hold on a second. Oh, I'll be right back.
All good.
Real quick, like. Alright, never mind. Turns out I'm just insane. I thought I heard my doorbell, but...
Oops.
I guess I'm just sleep deprived.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
But, we will continue this shit very soon, and we will have many video game things to say. I mean, when I go to Toronto, I always go to the game store, so I will have some pickups to talk about.
Yeah.
And I will definitely have to have bought some shit by then that I want to play. So yeah, it's going to be good.
Yeah, I'm clearing Cuphead off my playlist and shit, so I'll talk about that next time.
I have Cuphead stuff to talk about. Cuphead. You cup.
You stupid head of a cup.
He looks...
Is that a slur? Is Cuphead a slur?
Hey, Cuphead. Get over here. What did you call me?
Kind over here.
Yeah, we don't serve you Cupheads. And you mugmen.
You mugmen.
What's the name of the girl Cuphead?
Oh God, I don't know. I don't have that. The DLC.
Isn't she like a milkshake or something?
What is
she like
Cuphead's name?
Lady Cuphead.
She's like a tea.
She T?
Lady Cuphead's name.
Lady Cuphead.
Lady Cuphead name. Oh, Miss Chalice.
Miss Chalice.
Yeah.
Alright. Oh boy.
Makes sense.
I was just like, ooh.
Checks out. It's a chalice. Her head is a chalice.
She's got a chalice head. That's her. I guess.
Can't wait for DLC character Pinthead.
Pinthead. Oh, yeah. Now that'll get me to play the game for sure.
The camera is all wobbly and shit.
It's like when you drink in fucking Skyrim and you get like all
does it do it in Skyrim?
Depending on how much ale you drink, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you have to drink. How much Blackbriar mead did you drink?
A lot, but not enough, clearly.
Yeah, clearly.
Oh, no, it's true. There's that one quest that fucks you up.
Yeah, and you're like, whoa!
Yeah.
It's really funny.
And you get the fucking power stick.
Power stick.
The Weeba Whack or whatever.
The power stick. That's what it should have been called, the power stick. The Wabbajack. Yeah, where you're like, wee, and you turn people into like...
The Whack-A-Weeb.
Turn people into cups and shit. It's weird.
It's the Weeb Club.
That's the haha, were they smoking weed when they were developing this joke for that game? Alright, well, thank you for listening to the GamePunx. We're back, I promise.
Many tangents to be had.
Yes, many tangents and many games to be played. And perhaps a bonus round to be bonused out. Bonused. But
only if you collect all the hidden rings.
Exactly. All right. Well, thank you very much. Have yourselves a good 2020. Happy New Year. Hopefully, it's at least as good for games as 2019 was, and as bad for everything else as 2019 wasn't.
If they announce Marvel 4 at fucking Evo, I'm gonna shit my pants.
It's Marvel, baby.
It's Marvel, baby.